The US has launched a fresh wave of strikes on Iran on July 15th, with Central Command saying the focus is on degrading the military capabilities Tehran uses to threaten shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. US forces hit radar sites, coastal missile batteries, drone launch points and related infrastructure linked to previous attacks on tankers and cargo vessels, as per CENTCOM. US forces rained fire on Greater Tunb Island for 90 minutes, hammering one of Iran's key forward positions near the Strait of Hormuz in a sustained air operation. On radar for this strike were Iran's coastal defense systems, cruise missile storage facilities and launch sites on and around the island. President Trump also threatened to widen the conflict, warning that the war could expand to include strikes on Iran's power grid and key bridges if Tehran continues its operations. "We'll hit them harder next week," Trump said, signaling that he sees this latest barrage not as a climax but as a prelude to even more intense attacks if Iran does not change course. Iran, for its part, vowed retaliation after southeastern barracks were struck. Authorities said at least 7 troops were killed in the American attack. This came as Washington restarted its naval blockade around the Iranian coastline, beginning on July 14th, tightening pressure on Iran's maritime trade and energy exports. Over 20 US warships and hundreds of aircraft are reported to be deployed around Iran, creating a dense ring of naval and air power. Meanwhile, Iran targeted US ally in the Middle East as tensions soared, firing missiles and drones at a key base. Iran says it has launched a new wave of drone strikes targeting the US Azraq Air Base in Jordan. According to Tehran, the attack was aimed at positions housing US fighter jets inside the base. Iran also claims the drone operation targeted accommodation facilities used by American troops. The Iranian military further alleges that a major US equipment hangar was struck during the latest raid. Tehran says the Azraq operation forms part of its continuing campaign against US military bases across the region. Iran adds that this latest assault follows 6 earlier waves of attacks on American targets. IRGC statement read, and I quote, "The hangars for American F-15, 16, and 35 fighter jets and a number of US MQ-9 strategic drones at the Azraq base in Jordan were destroyed. People of Jordan, as of this dawn, the wickedness of the child-killing US Army against our nation has been renewed. In response to the crimes of the Great Satan, the bulk of which are carried out using American bases on Jordanian soil, the fighters of the IRGC Aerospace Force, in a retaliatory attack on the American base in Azraq during the 6th wave of Operation Nossa 2 with the code YA Allah, destroyed the hangars for F-15, 16, and 35 fighter jets and a number of US MQ-9 strategic drones at this base. The Holy Land of Jordan is the path of the prophets and is not a place for occupiers and international criminals. The Islamic Ummah expects you, the noble and zealous people who have witnessed the crimes of America and the Zionist regime against oppressed Palestine more than any other nation, to end the presence of the great Satan's army on your soil and not allow that Holy Land to be the origin of aggressive attacks on the territory of Islamic countries and bullying against the Palestinian nation. Do not miss any opportunity to destroy American institutions and expel the occupying American army from Jordan." Unquote. Iran has accused Washington of repeatedly violating the ceasefire through fresh military actions. The Iranian military says it will retaliate against any attack on its land, territorial waters, or airspace. Fresh explosions were reported across at least 7 locations in Iran as the conflict escalated. US Central Command announced a new round of strikes targeting Iran's military capabilities. Washington says the latest strikes are intended to stop attacks on commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The latest CENTCOM statement says US operations will continue to target threats to regional maritime security. US Central Command statement read, and I quote, "US Central Command, CENTCOM, completed an additional round of strikes against Iran at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, July 14th, hitting dozens of military targets near the Strait of Hormuz and Iranian coastal areas. US fighter aircraft, drones, and naval vessels launched precision munitions against Iranian missile and drone sites, naval capabilities, and coastal defense systems during the 7-hour wave to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping and civilian crews. The strikes took place the same day US forces resumed the naval blockade against vessels transiting to or from Iranian ports and coastal areas. The blockade went into effect at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today. US forces remain vigilant, lethal, and prepared to execute operations directed by the Commander-in-Chief. Unquote. The US-Iran conflict continues despite a Pakistan-mediated peace memorandum of understanding. Tensions around the Strait of Hormuz remain high as both sides continue exchanging fresh attacks. Satellite images released by Iranian media show before and after views of locations allegedly hit during Iran's retaliatory attacks. According to Press TV, the imagery focuses on military facilities located in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar. Military analysts say the images appear to indicate damage at multiple facilities associated with U.S. military operations. Earlier satellite assessments had already pointed to damage involving aircraft hangars, radar systems, and other military infrastructure. The latest imagery has reignited debate over the true extent of damage suffered by U.S. forces during the conflict. Analysts caution that while some of the images have been verified, others have been identified as AI-generated or misleading. As the exchange of strikes continues, the satellite evidence is expected to intensify global scrutiny of the ongoing U.S.-Iran conflict. The United States has launched a third consecutive night of military strikes against Iran, signaling a major escalation in the conflict. President Donald Trump has ordered a fresh wave of attacks as U.S. Central Command vows to keep increasing pressure on Iranian forces. U.S. Central Command said, and I quote, "At 4:45 p.m. ET today, U.S. Central Command began launching the third consecutive night of strikes against Iran, at the Commander-in-Chief's direction. These strikes will continue imposing a heavy cost on Iranian forces and degrade their ability to attack innocent civilians and commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz." Unquote. According to CENTCOM, the operation will continue until Iran's military capabilities are significantly degraded. The latest strikes are also aimed at protecting international shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Fresh explosions have been reported across Bandar Abbas as the latest round of U.S. strikes hit southern Iran. Iranian media also reported multiple blasts on Kish Island, suggesting the conflict is spreading to more strategic locations. Iran has responded by launching cruise missiles at a U.S. vessel operating in the Gulf, according to reports. Tehran also claimed that its drone strikes targeted American military facilities inside Kuwait.